public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Belvidere Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted with the Star Ledger and the Express Times and submitted to the town clerk of the town of Belvidere August 13th, 2021. Due to COVID, masks will be required at this meeting when proper social distancing cannot be maintained, and the meeting will be live streamed on www.belvideresd.org. Time for the flag salute. Roll call, Shell.
Costantino?
Here.
Mr. Blum?
Here.
Dr. Zuppeth?
Here.
Duckworth?
Here.
Mr. LeBar? Pell? Scott?
Here.
Smith? Steppen?
Here.
Mr. Ty?
Here.
Williams? Mr. White?
Okay, so this first half of our meeting, hopefully it's half of our meeting, is a workshop that we had discussed having. So the agenda, so the first thing is we need to establish CSA goals for the coming year. What is everybody's thoughts and preferences on those?
Kind of hard to do. Should we look at the ones from last year again? I don't have those in front. I know we
Well,
finished the evaluation, but I don't
Yeah.
have them in.
Yeah, so last year I had two. Last year there was two. Number one was the academic improvement. With that, there was, I think I had 10 subcategories.
Right.
And then the second one was the long-range facilities plan, getting that up and running, which we did. Now, probably that wouldn't necessarily be a bad one to continue with, breaking it down a little bit more, focus on what the priorities are with the facilities plan.
We don't have, we know what our issues are, but we have no idea what our priorities are and what our punch list is and how we're going to go after that list.
Correct, and we haven't gotten an update on that since the.
No, we haven't
overall-
had a chance. We're going to have them come meet with the finance committee. With the summer, it's been a little jumbled, so hopefully once we get back into the fall, we'll be able to do that.
I wouldn't have a problem with continuing with that one. I think that might be a good one to continue with, because that is key to our operations, is this facilities plan.
I agree, and I don't think we, stop doing academic improvement, especially in light of not having testing, and, we need to move forward and with the gaps that were caused by COVID.
That's probably even more important, in my opinion, this year than it was last
Yeah.
year. So what is everybody's thoughts? Do you want to continue with those two? Do you have more that you want to add? Do you not want to continue with those two?
I
See
think
some head-
continue with both.
Okay.
I would agree, yeah, 100%.
All right, so there you go. You got your marching orders for this year.
Okay, I'll put something together over the next week and a half and sort of outline them again, and then we can kick around the process. If there's anything that you feel should be added, that'd be good. Mr. Ty?
Is there anything that you think?
Well,
What
actually,
are your thoughts?
I would have said specifically academic improvements as well, because echoing basically what everybody just said, I completely agree. It's a completely different academic year. I think the term regression has been kicked around. I don't think regression is actually a very good word. I think stuff that wasn't learned is probably a better way to attack it. So I'd want to focus on that and look through all that. And the long-range facilities plan for me was also something I've been thinking about, because, again, we put the plan together, but that's as far as we really got with it. And I think focusing on that. So to me, I think the continuity for one more year of these two would be very good. And I think we can probably start to see some, hopefully some results out of that. And I would probably put in with the long-range facility plan, I'll put a little subcategory about the education foundation, which we've been just for years now kicking around, and see what we can come up with to try to get that up and running, at least maybe by the end of this school year, have a process in place. So.
I mean, I think you could even expand that to even like long-range plan and add certain things under that.
Correct, and to piggyback
Kinda
off
like
of that,
strategic planning.
yeah,
Okay.
and maybe we have milestones along the way. I know that's what we talked about too, is check-in points, like how can we, make sure that things are moving along, so maybe like seeing an updated version of what the facilities plans will look like and how on track we are with curriculum and grades and all that kind of stuff, like intermittently. I don't know, did we decide if we wanted to pick specific dates for that, or
I know we
Do we
talked
wanna
about
do
quarterly
quarterly?
for
We did-
sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say quarterly as well.
Okay,
So,
that would work.
so we say we start in September, but present this at the September meeting, and then
November, maybe? like
November,
Every
November.
couple, every 2 months,
Yeah,
maybe
let's
every
do it.
2 meetings,
Yeah.
you know, not every meeting, but every 2 meetings, just a
Every
quick
other.
update.
Nothing real in-depth,
Yeah.
not
Yep.
our presentation.
so basically every other meeting is what we're saying.
Yes.
Yep, yep.
And I think too, because there have been concerns, even while I was sitting here, Ms. Begelli gave a presentation to our board last night, which she gave her goals, which I find, as a district, we were extremely happy with what she presented, and it just kind of made us feel a part of it. She's got 211 students under her
Mhm.
realm or in her area. So I think even something with that, with that part, the CST program, just coinciding with the planning that she's doing. So I think that, and it's a concern in every district. You know, it's the biggest concern. It has been in the past probably like 10 years in our district alone with parents that are upset with that area. I think for the first time last night, we did have a parent get up and sing her praises and was happy with the progress that was being made, and which was very nice to hear for a change.
Good.
So.
Yeah, that, I would love to hear updates.
I just wrote that one down.
Yep.
Let's put that down as Mr. Ty was
Yeah.
saying it. Yep.
That was a very good one last year, it was.
Yep. Okay.
Absolutely.
Chris, you mentioned the educational foundation. I want to kind of remind you again that Bangor, right across the river from us, has a real successful foundation, which I'm sure they'd be happy to talk to us about.
Okay, I'll reach out to them, put that as part of the plan.
Okay, anybody have anything else? Okay, so I guess we can move on to committee reports. Catherine's not here for finance.
We didn't meet with finance anyway.
We have there is no committee report
We
for
were,
that.
just to update everybody on finance, we were going to have a finance meeting. We had a couple of members that couldn't make the meeting, and we decided to hold off. We were hoping that St. Luke's would be able to come to the meeting on the 11th, but they were not able to, so we're hoping they'll be at the September meeting. We thought that was a big piece of what the finance meeting was going to be about. Go through that agreement again. There's a lot of questions that got kicked around in both personnel and curriculum pertaining to that. So hopefully, when we do have the finance meeting, they'll be able to attend.
Okay, good. Policy, Brian's not on, but we need to do something with policy, because we have all those policies that we need to update.
Yeah,
based on-
let me start by, first I owe Mrs. Duckworth an apology, because she sent me an email, I think it was the day right before I got on a plane for Phoenix, and she asked to, I think it was compare a couple of different policies versus the Strauss asked me versus the old one, just to kind of see how they updated, and I didn't get back to her. I got back to you, but I didn't follow up, and then I didn't get it back to the board, so I'll get that done over the next week.
Okay.
We do need to figure out, and it could be a full board discussion too, by the way, with policy, and I sent an email to the policy committee. We have all of the Strauss Esme policies. They won't put them online for us until we approve all of the policies. So it's, probably in the range of about 400 policies, ranging from 2 to 20 pages, depending on the policy. So we're trying to figure out what the best way was to implement that. We pulled some examples out that went to the policy committee just to do a comparison between the two. I had sent, I believe I did, and if I didn't, I will. We had gotten one update from Strauss Esme in the meantime, so they can see how Strauss Esme updates all of the policies. But at some point, we do need to mass approve all of those policies. So, and as I said to the committee, I'm open for any and all suggestions. I'm pretty confident that not everybody wants to read every policy through before we, but I know if you have a weekend off and you'd like to do that, feel free.
Can they be done in sections, or it has to be an overhaul?
They won't put it all the way up until everything is approved. So we could do it in sections, but we wouldn't get it up online. So what we did was, in the meantime, is we're paying the old service. It's like $400 a quarter or something to that effect to maintain what we currently have.
Oh, okay.
So we could do it in sections. It would probably take a good
Okay.
chunk of time.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 people from the policy committee are missing. The policy committee is Brian, Doug, Colleen, Andy, who just came in, and Melissa. I would really like them to meet, even if it's just for 5 minutes, and give their recommendation as to how they think the policy should go. I don't know if anybody wants to.
Well, the ones that were given to us, like the general different ones that he gave us to kind of compare to what we might have had, I think they were really easy to read compared to what I first started with policy, because I was completely new to any of this. So I found the new policies super easy for me to just sit down and look at and realize what it was saying, where the old ones I did struggle more. I'm like, what's this? What's that? So right away, I'm much happier reading through them. They make it much easier for somebody to read that isn't familiar with all the legality terms and all, the different things. So I was very happy with them that way. I think anybody could go on the website and be like, I want to look up this and understand it without having 10 questions in the first paragraph kind of thing. So I was very happy with the way they seem to be written for anybody, not just people with background that know how to read policies.
Yeah, and I think if you see the updates too, the updates are very good because they, first of all, you get a overview of the update, whether it's mandatory or whether it's a recommended policy or even an abolished policy, so you kind of see why they have it marked that way. And then secondly, when you actually get it, this lines are crossed out and it shows you what's replaced with it, which I know we've always wanted to do, and Lorette did a really nice job with that, at times putting it in red versus yellow, but this is just pretty much right to the point. It's going to show you right in the actual body of the policy what the change is, and I think that's why it's much easier to follow along.
All right, so do you want to get with Brian and get something set up?
Yeah, I'll talk to
fairly
Brian tomorrow.
quickly?
Yep,
So that
absolutely.
we can know what we're doing going forward?
Yep.
Negotiations, that'll have to be done in executive session, not here, because we're in negotiations. Curriculum. Ted, do you want to share anything? I know, I was at the July meeting, but then I missed the August meeting, so somebody who was probably at both should maybe jump in if they can.
I was at both, but the July meeting was really, sorry.
Go ahead, sorry, my
Oh,
mic
okay.
wasn't on.
The July meeting was all the proposed positions, and we kind of really weeded through and asked a lot of questions on what ones we thought were deemed necessary. So that was most of the July meeting, and then August, we firmed down the ones that we were going to go with, and I think the
I think
August
it was
meeting
3, Chris? Was it
Yeah,
three?
It's,
three,
yeah,
and
it's
it was-
3, yep.
Yeah.
it was very short,
Right.
the August meeting.
It was
July
short.
was longer.
Yeah, and those job descriptions are in the packet, so yeah, we had a chance to see them. That's the most updated version, was the ones that were in the packet. And then just so everybody knows, the process will be once board approved, then I will sit down with the association to work out the stipends. I mean, we have ideas, and we presented our ideas on the stipends, but we have to firm that up with the BEA.
All right, and it'll be done as a sidebar, right?
Correct.
Anybody else have questions on curriculum? All right, so I guess we should go to executive session and talk about personnel and negotiations. Okay? So can I get a motion and a second to go to executive session to discuss personnel committee update and negotiations update? The matters, I don't have a gavel. The New Jersey Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Belvidere Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted with the Star Ledger and Express Times and submitted to the town clerk of the town of Belvidere on June 21st, 2021. Due to COVID-19, Masks will be required at this meeting when proper social distancing cannot be maintained. This meeting will be live streamed at www.belvideresd.org, and I guess we do another flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call, Shal.
Mr. Blum,
Here.
Mrs. Costantino.
Here.
Dr. Zuppeth,
Here.
Duckworth. Here. Mr. Labar,
Here.
Pell. Scott.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Steffen.
Here.
Ty.
Here.
Mrs. Williams. Mr. White.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at the point for public participation. Now, this is public participation relating to agenda items only. Does anybody in the audience have anything to contribute?
Hello, my name is Christy Weber. I am president of the Belvidere Education Association. I just wanted to let everybody know that our summer program instructors worked really hard to create programs that inspired our students ranging from preschool to high school. On the agenda, we'll be having a showcase presentation from one program. We noticed additional summer staff members being recognized and appreciated for their extra work and effort on this agenda, and we do hope all our innovative summer programs are equally appreciated. Thank you.
Thanks, Christy. Anybody else? Shel, do you have any emails?
I do actually have an email came in from Mrs. Pell that I'd like to read. Dear Belvedere board members and community, can you all hear me? Yeah. It is with a heavy heart that I inform you I will be resigning from the Belvedere Board of Education effective immediately. At this time, I need to dedicate and focus on homeschooling my daughter, who I will be withdrawing from first grade at Belvedere Elementary. I want her to know what real normal is, because at only 6 years old, the current environment is all she knows. Not being able to see her classmates' smiles or facial expressions is sad. To be told at such a young age to stay away from her peers, friends, and staff is disheartening. The emotional, social, physical, and intellectual health of our children will forever be affected. Despite some turmoil, I have enjoyed my time on the board, sharing and creating new ideas to help improve the district. I can only hope all of the hard efforts made over the last 3 years are not lost or forgotten. I deeply care and worry about all of our children. They are losing valuable time in education. Most importantly, they are missing out on many experiences. I would like to thank all those that were kind, compassionate, and appreciative of my efforts over the last 3 years in fighting for our children. Debating and disagreeing are vital and productive in making decisions. We live in a world now where all of a sudden we are told this is not acceptable. We should be silenced if we do not agree, potentially even lose our job or public position. I believe every child is unique in their emotional, social, physical, and intellectual health. I believe every individual has the right to make the best decision for their family, even if others do not agree. This will always be my belief. And the Belvedere parents that were not willing to put their names behind the letter to the board, you will not stop me from helping and sharing ideas to those who are in need of resources. You did not have the audacity to debate in public or sign your name to your opinion and thoughts. Teachers are resigning daily due to forced mandates and are looking to offer private tutoring and lessons. We will likely see a significant teacher shortage in New Jersey very soon. The letter was quite disturbing, and I encourage the board moving forward to tread very carefully around those that threaten to silence your individual rights and speech. In closing, I would like to thank Mr. Carabinas, Mrs. March, Mrs. Crisafulli, and Mrs. Cundiff for all of their efforts last year. You exhibited strength and comfort, not weakness and fear. Thank you for all that you have done for our children. Regards, Catherine Pell.
I wish I could take that back. Catherine will be sorely missed on this board. She was definitely up for debates. We could argue things back and forth. She brought fresh ideas. She never, ever had anything but the children's best interest at heart. And as a community, I think that was a great loss by her resigning.
Incredible loss.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Do you have anything else, Shel?
I do not.
Okay, so we're going to close public participation. We're going to go to the student presentation, I think was next on the list.
Yeah, we're going to start with the student, the PBL. Ms. McKinney's coming up.
Hi, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, I am Jessica McKinney, the principal here at Belvidere High School. And this summer, we ran a wonderful project-based learning program. And we have some kids here from our program that we'd love to showcase their projects. And if you guys can come up, I'd appreciate that. Mr. Schreffler, raise your hand. He is one of our instructors. Thank you. Our other 3 instructors couldn't make it tonight, but we appreciate their hard work. Come on, guys, come on up. All right, let's see who's brave enough to want to go first. Any volunteers? Don't all jump up at once. All right. So let's do, I know we have Evan Kennedy in the back. He's a little nervous, but I'll just quickly go over. Their group did the Zen Den. Their group was with Mrs. Singh. For those of you that don't know Mrs. Singh, she is an English teacher, English language arts teacher at Belvidere Elementary, and she just loved this idea. The kids did an amazing job. Every day they were up there brainstorming and coming up with these fantastic ideas. So they wanted to create a space in the school where kids can go if they were just not having a good day, or if they were not having a good moment at that point in time, that they can go and enjoy the space. They went so far as actually physically creating the space in the old Oxford Street Media Center. So this project really came to fruition very quickly. It was a 3-week program. They ran with it, and the finished product was that space that they created in the old Media Center. In that Zen Den, and for those of you that are part of that Zen Den, correct me if I'm wrong, but they wanted to put puzzles, snacks. There's yoga mats down there for kids to be able to do yoga, to relax, and they have some fidget toys. So for those of you that have young kids and you know they love their fidget toys, there's a bunch of fidget toys down there. And the purpose of it was to give them about 10 to 15 minutes away from the class setting to go down. I believe Miss Belsky and Miss Tierney would be down there too, to be able to meet with the kids and just talk to them for a few minutes and then get them back to class. So I appreciate the efforts. We also had one of the local businesses in the community provide us with some snacks for the Zen Den. So we really appreciated that. So Zen Den group, you did an amazing job. Thank you for seeing it all the way through. We appreciated that effort, and I know your classmates will really appreciate it as well. All right. Okay, let's do judging others. All right, can you just introduce yourself?
My name is Lillian Duckworth. I made this with my partner, Destiny, and we made some poster campaigns that are represented in this Google Slides for judging others. So, we can go through it. Okay. So our driving question was, how can we as students identify the reasons why we judge others? Using that knowledge, how can we design a poster campaign to raise awareness and create a more positive school environment? Why did we choose this project? We chose to do this project because it was something that our class picked in the beginning, because we all think judgment is a big issue that we were all set on, because we wanted to help people to stop judging each other for something that doesn't matter, such as their personality or who they want to become. We shouldn't be putting people down, we should be lifting them up. Okay, why do we judge others? That is what we chose as part of our driving question to answer. It is sometimes hard to identify why we judge others, but we did find some ways to do that. One way is that people who judge others judge them on some of the things that they are insecure about. For example, a person isn't confident with the way they dress, so they judge someone else about the way that that person dresses. But the more you judge others, the more you judge yourself. Have you ever been judged? In a study we found, 80% of people get judged for their looks. But the good news is that 84% of people say they are trying not to judge others as much. Are there different types of judgment? We are all guilty of judging one in one form or another. Anything from a simple first impression to gossiping to a full character judgment could be considered judging someone. What is important is getting to know a person instead of judging them based on something superficial. What are some characteristics that people judge us for? Clothes, skin color, behavior, appearance, personality, abilities, hobbies/interests, weight, and height. Why did we choose to do a poster campaign? The reason we wanted to do a poster campaign is because we were brainstorming what to do, and we decided that we'd do a poster campaign. And we thought that the best thing for judging others would be a poster campaign, so we found some articles that had things that would be good and made 10 posters to put around the school and hopefully encourage people to stop judging others. And here are some of our poster designs. The more you judge others, the more you judge yourself, and first impressions are often wrong. We cannot see ourselves or judge ourselves the way we see and judge others. In 2010, 35% of people said they felt their appearance defined their identity. In 2015, that number jumped to 50%. It takes less than a second to judge someone. It takes much longer to get to know them. And before you judge someone, walk a mile in their shoes. We must be showed how to think, not told what to think. When you point your finger at someone, you're actually pointing 3 fingers back at yourself. And by constantly seeing the bad in others, we train our minds to find the bad in ourselves. When people know you're judgmental, they automatically take a step back. Logistics. We would love to see our poster campaign displayed in the elementary school. Our poster designs were made in Canva, so they are digital files. The posters can be printed on computer paper and hung in the halls/classrooms. Another option would be to have the posters professionally printed at a larger size and hung in the hallways. We could even have them made into floor decals like the ones in the high school hallways. What do we hope is the outcome of the poster campaign? We hope that the outcome of the poster campaigns are that we help create a more friendly and non-judgmental environment, both in school and out of school.
Great job, thank you. All right, let's see. All right, now we have AK. Your group was up to do you just want to show your video? You want me to show the video? Here, introduce yourselves.
I'm Grace Duckworth.
And I'm AK Burke.
All right, do you just want to show your video? All right.
Hi, I'm Grace Duckworth, and I'm AK Burke. And welcome back to the Random News Network. Weather here in Belvidere isn't the best today, as we take not enough public safety setting in. Here at Belvidere, our summer program would like to put together a mental health walking club. Mental health walking club would be great. Run the mental health walk. We pick up some trash on the way from the campus. From my perspective, mental health walking club sounds like a really good idea. Here is Scarlett, live on the field to talk to us about mental health. Hi, I'm Scarlett Foster-Ross-Ruski, and here in Belvidere today, complaints have been storming in by the lack of public seating. Here we have all of our postermen to express their feelings on it. So, start. How to be a good role model is showing other kids what is right and what is wrong. So we can help kids our age because, well, they're right. Sadly, kids don't really listen to adults, so it's our job to step in. By being good role models, we show kids what they should do to help people in their community. Try to be a good role model. Now, Scarlett has some insight about this. Thanks, Grace. As I said, kids don't really listen to adults, and I don't blame them. It can feel like you're being more scolded than them when they tell you something. But when a kid tells a kid something, they're more than likely to hear them out instead. A snowball effect happens when being a role model. More and more people see you doing good, and they'll want to do it too. So have a bigger impact on people more than you think, especially when it comes to little kids. If a little kid sees older kids do something, they'll want to do it too because they'll think it's cool, regardless of what it is. Step up and be a good role model and Cena. Back to you, AK Grace. Thank you, Scarlett. Welcome again. We're going to get one more report about public meetings from Oliver. Yes. Back to Oliver. Hi, I'm Oliver, and I have a couple questions for we have to attend for today. Starting up for the school Bible and Jesus. We can also put them by the track, the football field, and the playground out back. We can also stick with the existing fences around the school and maybe around the town. Make them not really bad benches. Sit on them. So back to you, AJ and Grace. There you have it, folks. Wrapping up today's news.
One interesting thing I just want to point out about this group was they came up with an initial idea of cleaning up the grounds of the school, and they wanted to sit with the administrators and have a discussion on things that they can do. We gave them feedback, and they literally changed their course of what they were doing within the day, and this was the project that they came up with. So I thought that was very innovative on their part. We give them feedback, and the next day it's completely different. So they tricked us, which was fantastic. I loved it. Great job. And our last group, they were talking about school lunches. So, Andrew?
Hi, I'm Andrew Duckworth.
Any background about this? No? We did a lot of research on school lunches and how healthy or unhealthy they were, and this is what they put together.
Are you tired of the same packed lunch? The exact same thing. Every day, every week, for the entire school year. And you just can't stand it anymore. But the school lunches are not filling, cold, stale, or even sometimes soggy? Did you know that the average cost for a school lunch is $2.75?
Man, I pay triple this for a fast food. I would definitely pay more for a better school lunch. Wow. How much stuff I got for only $5.
Much healthier than full of sugar. Man, this sure will give me plenty of energy for my afternoon classes. Our research has found that kids are more likely to buy a school lunch if it is more filling, and parents are more willing to spend a little more on school lunches if it is healthier. The national average cost for schools is $3.81 per student, but with these better ingredients, it only costs the school $1.25 per student.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of the efforts of our teachers and our students during this summer program. The first time we ran it, and we are looking forward to running it again in the future. So one more time, round of applause for our students. Thank you, guys.
Great job, guys. Thanks for coming and presenting to us as well. And you can go home if you want. Okay, so is there any other where's Shelley go? Do you have any other correspondence, Shell? No? Okay, superintendent's report?
First, I just want to thank the kids as they're walking out. They did an outstanding job, and when we saw the presentation a few weeks ago, they did comment to the students how most adults can't get up and speak in front of a group of people, and the kids did an awesome job. They were a little less nervous when we were back a few weeks ago, but they did an excellent job. I also wanted to comment that Andrew Duckworth had a really cool Al Bundy Polk High T-shirt on that day, so it was kind of fun. Brought me back down to when I was a youngster. And it was actually interesting because just watching it again, I wanted to mention this to Miss Duckworth as not this Miss Duckworth, the first one that walked out, that the whole thing about where she had the sign that said we should be teaching kids what to think, or how to think, not what to think. That was in a Harvard course over the summer, and that was a big focus on what they said there. So it's interesting that we have our middle school students who can come up with that too, as well as Harvard-educated professors. So I thought that was very interesting. They did an awesome job, and appreciate the staff that took the time and was here this summer, and Ms. McKinney for what she put together. And then also, Mr. Carabinas had a great summer program as well at his school too, and I thought we did an excellent job this year. Hopefully next year we'll have a lot more students that can participate, but I thought for the first year, our first go-around, it was really well done, so thanks to everyone. So there's a few things I just want to mention above and beyond that. I'll just talk a little bit about the reopening plan. I know I've sent out a few emails about that. It's up on the website now. A couple things just to highlight, just so everybody kind of understands what's been happening, and certainly over the course of the month of August, things have been changing rapidly. We all know that there is currently a mask mandate in place, and obviously I think there's some folks here who are going to speak about that tonight. I think that if you ask some of us would prefer mask optional, but at this point it is a government mandate, so there's not a lot we can do as a board. The staff vaccination that just came out on Monday, we're waiting for a lot of information on that. We do know that by October the 18th, all the staff either has to be vaccinated or has to be subject to at least weekly testing. The initial information that we got is that the school districts will be responsible for the cost of that testing. However, I was in a meeting this afternoon with the New Jersey Superintendents Association, and they said that may not necessarily be the case, but we're waiting for more information. So hopefully the guidance on that will come out a little bit sooner than later. Governor Murphy did say in his speech the other day, he alluded to the fact that school districts did get a lot of federal money, and that should be one of the things they should be using it for. So we'll see where that goes. One of the big questions that's kind of come up is with quarantining. Couple things with that. If you read the plan, or if you had an opportunity to read the plan, if a student is wearing a mask and wearing the mask properly, and if they are exposed to someone who is positive, they will not have to quarantine unless they show symptoms. That is, I think, one of the better parts of everything that's come out over the last month. I believe it'll cut down quite a bit on our quarantining. I don't see us quarantining classes in whole this year like we did last year. So that's probably one of the few positives over the last few weeks. And then with that, we're still trying to figure out how we're going to instruct the students. We got guidance from the Department of Education probably about a week ago now, but it was extremely vague. They just said we just had to provide instruction that's equal to what they get in the classroom, but didn't necessarily say it has to be at the exact same time. We've discussed as an administrative team, there's certainly a difference between a second grader that's out for quarantine and a high school student. So we're going to probably not necessarily have a blanket district policy, but more it's going to be to the grade level. But we'll try to get that information out as soon as we can. Otherwise, we're hoping for what will be a more normal year than this year than last year. Certainly last year we had a lot of starts and stops, and we had time where we were out, and I'm just hoping this year that there's not going to be a point where we have to shut down at all, and I don't believe we're going to be in that situation. The other thing that is part of the plan that we're checking on is we don't believe we have to notify the public every time there's a positive case in the building. I know some parents like that. Some parents were getting a little fed up with the messages that were coming out. At one point, it seemed like sometimes twice daily last year. So we're just following up on that too to see what we have to do. Switching gears here, I just do want to take some time to just thank our summer staff. Had an opportunity to walk around a little bit before the meeting, and the buildings look great. We're ready to go. We have our teachers coming in on Monday, students on Wednesday next week, and we're certainly ready to go. So thanks to Mr. Barrick and the custodial maintenance staff. They always do an outstanding job. This year is a little more challenging because they were down one person because they were replacing someone who had resigned, but they still rose up to the occasion and have done an awesome job. Mr. Lee's been here pretty much all summer. He's a summer steadfast because he's getting all the technology going. Appreciate that. Our outstanding administrative assistants who work during the summer, they do a great job, and it's always good to know that they're here and they just keep the place going in the summer. I mentioned the summer program staff before. I thought they did an awesome job. This year we hosted the extended school year for a lot of the cluster students here, so it was great to see a lot of different people here, but again, ESY did an awesome job this year. If you are associated with the high school, athletics is up and running. Our first home football game is next Friday, a week from 2 days from now. We are playing, I forget. Manville. Should know that. That's that 4 times already. So we'll be out on the football field at 7 o'clock. They're out fixing the lights today, so we should be good to go, and all the rest of the athletics will start. I know they've already started, but the seasons will start the following week. So again, just thanks to everyone for the summer. It was, compared to last summer, a little more calm until the last probably 2 weeks where things really kind of heated up for us. So I'm sure it'll be some bumps along the way as we get opening, but hopefully we'll have a great school year. And I think we're all excited to have our students back in full days, with lunch and everything like that. So I really, really feel a lot more positive going into this year than last year. So hopefully it'll be a great year. So that's my report.
Anybody have any questions for Chris? No? Okay, so we can move on to our regular agenda. Can I get a motion and a second for personnel items 1 through 17B? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I guess we weren't supposed to do that, were we? Oh, well. Well, hang on. Anybody have any questions? Let's go to there. That's where we should have been. Sorry, guys. It's been a while. No questions? Comments? Okay, roll call, Shell.
Yes.
Dr. Zuppeth?
Yes.
Mrs. Duckworth?
Yes.
Mr. LeBar?
Yes.
Mrs. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Steffen?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Okay, can I get a motion and a second for education items 18 through 24?
Motion.
Second? Any comments, questions? No? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, can I get a motion and a second for business items 26 through 32? Second, somebody?
Second.
Any questions or comments? No? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Anybody else? No? Okay. Continuing business.
Just wanted, Doc Zeppet asked me to just mention about the meeting that Mr. Karabias and I had with St. Luke's back in the middle of July, kind of a quick rundown. We did meet with 2 upper management members of St. Luke's to discuss some of the issues that we've had, specifically the email that was sent by Mr. Morgan to the Board of Education, I think it was prior to the June 30th meeting. And obviously, we shared the concerns that, from a board and from Chris and I with the administrative concerns that were raised in that. They are having their legal department write a response to the email, going through it line by line and explaining where they felt that there were some inaccuracies in the email, as well as what their actual true policies are. So I'm expecting that should be coming down as soon as we get into the early part of the school year. So I should have that for the September meeting, and we can review that hopefully within either finance or curriculum as well. They did discuss the fact that they had decided to part ways with Mr. Morgan. And again, he was not an employee of our district. He was an employee of St. Luke's. They did offer to, we obviously have a new athletic trainer. They also will be working with our sports programs with an exercise specialist to kind of help the kids get rolling. And then they did offer to help us with the educational foundation as well, kind of get that up and rolling. I think that's
Good.
the basics of the meeting.
Perfect. Anybody else have anything under continuing business?
I do.
Go ahead.
With sports starting back, I don't like to do personal things, but my daughter does play field hockey here. And some of the fields are not up to par. When the field hockey team got here, they did not have a proper field to practice on. Their real field is not lined, and I heard that there's bees on the real field. So I want to know where the engineering plan is that we sent to the state. Where are we in this whole plan? Many of us on the board have high school students or those that are going to be coming into high school. And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but if we do not look at this now, it will be tens of thousands of dollars later in another 5 years that Belvidere is spending. We are not attracting any students to this school district by leaving the sports facilities the way they are. Even parking lots, not large enough for some of the schools that come visit. People don't know where to go. There's just a lot that needs to be addressed. And I know that we have the plan. We're looking at, where we want to start with it. But to have any student come here to try to play and feel happy about playing here and not even have a field to practice on in the summer it's deplorable. And I know it wasn't done purposeful, but I think that baseball is coming up in the spring, and if they got there and there was no field to play on, football, we were, according to the field hockey girls, power washing lights today, but we still don't have a field to play on. So I think that this needs to be addressed. The engineering plan needs to be looked at, and you need to look to the future, not just now. My daughter's going to be a senior next year. She's a junior this year. I'm looking for kids that are 5 years out, and whether we'll even have a school district, because a lot of kids are opting not to come here, going to private schools because they don't have the opportunities to play the sports that they want to.
Yeah, and I think, Ms. Williams, during the goal setting, that's actually one of the goals that we put together was to have the plan outlined, broken down, and put in place this year, so it will be addressed.
We received the plan back, Colleen, but we have not categorized, prioritized this, that, the other thing. So that's going to be one of Chris's goals, and that'll be one of the first things the Finance Committee looks at.
Can we get a copy of the plan as the whole board?
I think, didn't we get one?
I know it went to finance facilities, but
Can you send it to everybody, so everybody's entitled to see that plan?
yeah. It's strictly the state long-range facilities plan. So it's
Yeah, there's,
probably not what the board is still looking for. That's what
Correct.
the finance committee now has to develop.
Okay.
but at least it's a start. Step one, which we haven't done in quite a while. Anybody else have questions or comments for Chris?
As far as athletics, I know there's been a lot of changes within the school building the last 2 weeks, but NJSIA is still moving. They didn't change it. Did they make a mask mandate for outside like last year?
They did not. We just discussed this, and if it's changed since we met the other day, Mr. Bartow, correct me, but it's still to the individual school districts. So obviously if we're outside, we're not wearing masks. And as far as we're all aware of, the intention of the NJSIA is to continue on with full season as much as possible.
Good. Anybody else? Okay, new business. Anybody have anything for new business?
I just have a couple of questions, and it has to do with the new recent events in the last week. So as far as the faculty that has to if they don't have the immunization, they have to test, I heard weekly or biweekly. I know you don't know how it's being financed yet, but are we looking at making that easier for them? Some districts have a certain, testing group come in, like a certain day of the week. Like, how is that going to be managed?
Awesome question. And I wish I can give you an awesome answer.
Yeah.
So we've been kicking it around on a couple different levels. I think that if we're going to try to do it in-house, it becomes a burden on our health professionals, is really what it comes down to. So we're going to have to, and again, sometimes I know I sound like a broken record when I say we wait to get the guidance from the Department of Ed. I know you probably are sick of hearing me saying that as much as I'm sick of saying it, quite frankly. But we're waiting for that, and if we don't really get anything, we're going to have to put a plan together. I mean, there are plenty of outside companies that'll come in and do it. In a meeting I was in this afternoon with other superintendents, there's discussion that places like Rite Aid and CVS will do it for free.
Right.
The problem is going to be getting the data back.
Right.
And we have to make sure that we have it, and obviously for our concerns, and I probably speak for myself, but as administrative team, we did talk about this yesterday. We almost want the results immediately. Because if we're going to send you out for a test and it's going to take 2 days to come back, then realistically, we probably would have to send the person home for 2 days. So there's a lot of those little nuances from what the governor said yesterday. And yesterday was, or I'm sorry, Monday, it was more of just a generalization. This is going to happen. But we're almost used to that now. We get a lot of the mandates that come down, and then it's we'll give you some details later. So I'm hoping that by the time we get into our committee run in 2 weeks, we start meeting again committee-wise, we have much better guidance on that.
And has anything been said about people that have antibodies? Because I know that some doctors are telling their patients, you had COVID, you have antibodies, you should not get the vaccination under any circumstance right now. And then I wouldn't want those teachers to miss out on instruction. So
yeah, that was not at all addressed in any of what I've seen. We've got actually Mr. Krutz law firm sent something out.
the doctor's notes and things
Yeah,
like
so
that, I think.
those are all of those little questions that were not even remotely addressed within the mandate
Yeah, I
on
mean,
Monday.
school starts next week. I just
Yeah.
don't.
You have until October the 18th is the start date. So we're hoping within with 8 weeks that they will get some better. But even still, realistically, we need to know probably in about 3 weeks, because if somebody wants to get vaccinated and then you're going to do it
Right.
twice, it's going to be that turnaround.
And then
So-
is there a morning checklist again for parents?
No, we're not going to do the morning checklist this year.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have anything?
I just want to thank all of our staff and teachers, administration, everybody for being ready to jump back into a new year, because I think that's a huge thing. And I know some districts are still facing that again this year, and it's uncertain for all of us. But I think here at Belvidere, we have so many dedicated people to our kids, and I want to say that, the board thanks them.
Well said. Okay, so we're going to go into our second public participation, but I'm just going to remind people of some of the rules around it. And these are the rules for this public participation. A participant must be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface comments by an announcement of his or her name, place of residence, and if there's any group affiliation. Each statement made by the participant shall be limited to 5 minutes in duration. No participant may speak more than once on the same topic. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No participants may address or question board members individually, and public participation is limited to a 30-minute max. So just keep that in mind. So does anybody have anything for public participation? Go ahead. Eric, can you do something there?
I just have a couple questions about the reopening plan, particularly for kids that are pre-K to about 6th grade, right? They're under 12 and don't have the ability to get vaccinated. I don't see anything in this plan about how you'll be handling lunch. I have been reading a lot of other reopening plans from districts where they're doing assigned seating. They have specifics on how the masks will be handled. Have we addressed any of that?
Yes, and I'm just going to kind of punt the ball for a second and say, Mr. Carabini is going to address all that tomorrow night at his parent forum. I think that was kind of his goal, was to put
Yeah.
that in there, and then we'll we'll put it into the plan right after that.
And it'll be documented?
Yes.
Okay. And then I do have a question. Now, I don't expect you to have the answer on this because it is about the vaccinations, but as parents that have kids who are, again, unable to get vaccinated, if our child has a teacher that is unvaccinated, are there any kind of rules around posting the results? Will we be notified? Like, how do we know as parents that you're following through with that testing? I don't need to know who is tested, but how do I know you're actually doing it?
So that fits into the Miss Scott Awesome questions that we're going to have a whole list of those. Number one, we cannot release who's been vaccinated. I think you understand that through HIPAA.
I'm not looking for that.
I'm going to have to get back to you on that one because I'm just not sure how, because I understand your concern, so I'm just not sure how we're going to be able to address that. We're hoping that we get some info on how to do that.
Okay. And then I do have one more question about the reopening and then one other comment not related to that. So in this exception about the non-quarantine, if the student is wearing a felt well-fitted mask for the entire time, can you give us some details around who is making the judgment on the well-fitted mask? And are we saying that if they're exposed in a classroom where there clearly will not be 6 feet away due to space, that they won't be quarantining if a student in their class is tested positive for COVID or a teacher?
Yeah, so I think the person that will make that determination of the well-fitted mask will be one of our health professionals, so one of our school nurses. I think they're most qualified to do that. I mean, real quick off the, you have a well-fitted mask on, you're covered, you'd be good.
Well, yeah.
So, and I understand kids are a little bit different. We had a conversation with the staff yesterday, and I think one of the questions that came up was, does the teacher have the ability to say, hey, Chris, your mask isn't on right? And the answer is yes. So it's going to be one of those where we're going to put some reliance in the teachers that I think they'll do the right thing. And I think that, as Ms. Duckworth had just kind of mentioned, teachers have consistently done the right thing through this. So I think we'll be okay with that. But as long as it's in there, then no, they will not have to quarantine unless they show symptoms. If they show symptoms, if they were exposed, then they would have to quarantine.
Okay, and if a parent has a high-risk family member at home, can they opt to have their child quarantine?
Yeah, certainly.
And
Yep.
then they'll still be offered this non-school, whatever you
Right.
guys are doing?
Yeah,
Okay.
you'll just have to reach out to, in your case, Mr. Carabinus, to make sure he's aware of that. We'll work through that.
Okay, and then for the schooling, for the quarantine kids, that piece hasn't been worked out, how you're going to be doing that or managing that?
We have ideas. We just, like I said, it's going to be probably more grade specific than it is going to be district wide, which is why we didn't write anything in there yet.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm.
And then my last comment is actually also about the field hockey fields. So as a field hockey alumni, our team, I say our because we're all kind of one, have taken a lot of pride in this sport, and we show up and are competitive every single year despite being on grass, and it would really be appreciated if the school showed up for them in regards to their field. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hello, my name
Hi.
is Judah Schleifer. I'm a parent of 2 children who attended this school last year. One of them will be attending this year, one won't be. I commend everyone for doing their best last year. You guys gave our students something that a lot of other districts couldn't have, a full 5-day week. Ms. March, Mr. Carabinus, and all staff who tried to put their best foot forward under the circumstances. The normal you provided our children during that school year was better than many other districts, like I said, so I applaud you again. I also think I read a statistic correctly. I could be wrong. 0 transmissions in the school. I believe that's correct. Way to go, guys. People may call me an anti-masker, a crazy anti-masker. I could deal with it. I don't care. I like to think of myself as a proponent of personal freedom, and I know you guys you're in a bind. I can't go down without a fight. I gotta say my piece. So that's all I'm doing here. And I feel so bad for you guys. I really, really do. I really do. It's a shame. This is tyranny. This is not democracy. There is so much data out there supporting both sides. For every 20 reports showing masks work, I can give you 20 that show you masks don't work. The masks that every single person is wearing here are not effective at stopping the viral spread of any virus. Not COVID, any virus, okay? An N95 and the K95 are the only masks that could potentially stop it not at 100%. That's that. You know, I'm pro-choice. My body, my choice. There's no facts I've heard that says why a student should be masked. COVID poses essentially no risk to our children. Numbers might be off a little bit, but about 4.2 million children have tested positive for COVID. 0.008% of them died. It's about 340. It's horrible. It's one too many. These numbers have increased a little bit, but in 2018, so maybe the numbers are wrong, but in 2018, 2019, the CDC says 480 people, 480 children died from the flu. Did you guys suggest masks then? No. Did you guys wear masks then? No. Okay. I'm anti-masker. It is what it is. Where did I go? Sorry. 0.0004% of the population has died from COVID, children population, okay? Twice as many die from drowning every year, okay? We still go to the beach, we still go to the pool, we still go take baths. We don't tell our children these things are horrible, stay out, don't do it. The other thing I want to know, and no one in this room can answer it, I know that, but I want to know what's going to happen when my kid sits in a mask for 6 hours a day, not breathing consistently fresh air, not building their immune system. Will they get sinusitis? Will they get sick? I don't know. I'm sure people will argue with me. No one has the answer, though. And I know in my gut and in my heart, it's not right. It's not healthy. Also, I would just like to say the environment being fostered here, and I think you guys are trying hard and doing your best, and I just mean here as in a community too, goes completely against the Belvidere School District's mission statement. This comes straight from the Belvidere High School webpage. The mission of the Belvidere School District, a partnership of nurturing parents, behind me, that's nurturing, dedicated faculty and supportive communities, is to provide an exemplary education in a safe environment which empowers all students to become lifelong learners and to excel in a global society. Objective number 1, to meet the academic needs of a diverse student body. Teacher shortages, your kids are going to get a crappy education if there's no teachers to teach them. I walked into the school 2 days ago. I was immediately met by tons of signs saying, COVID, 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 wear this, do that. That's not education, guys. That's fear. We're going to falter and we're going to suffer as a district. And we have been making great strides over the last 3 years, and I just hate to see us take a step backwards. Objective number 2, to foster the development of the individual. There is no fostering of the individual if they are muzzled. Again, I'm a crazy anti-masker. The mask is a sign. That's all it is. As I said, it doesn't really keep you guys very, very safe. I went on that spiel already. Sorry. Point number 3, objective number 3 of the Belvidere High School and School District, I believe, to educate the student, or to provide a positive educational environment. A positive education environment. Last year, my daughter took her mask off for a second. Another child told her, stay away. That's not positive, guys. Okay? Not positive at all. The one where we teach them that they're going to possibly kill someone or hurt someone because they breathe near them. Don't drink the water fountains. I mean, did you guys see the water fountains? I mean, this is crazy, guys. This isn't what we grew up with. This isn't the school we went to. I didn't go here at Belvidere. This isn't the life we lived at all. This is not normal. Objective number 4, to educate the student for living in a pluralistic society. The definition of a pluralistic society is a diverse one. One where people in it believe all kinds of different things and tolerate each other's beliefs, even if you don't agree. I don't think that happens much. Number 5, objective, to educate the student for living in a democratic society. This is not democratic. We have no choice. Again, I don't blame you guys for that. So I ask, where will it stop? Those of us who are crazy anti-maskers, we want to know, where's it going to stop? Because the vaccine's coming. FDA just approved it. Pfizer vaccine, good to go. All right. How long until Dictator Murphy mandates that everybody 12 and over has to get the shot? I don't know. Do you guys know? And how will you handle it? History major here. History's going to repeat itself. You guys will tell every 12-year-old they have to have the vaccine. And there's no one saying that Murphy's going to get rid of this religious exemption or saying he's going to keep it. We don't know. Where does it stop? And I just want to know, if you follow the marching orders and the child should die, right, from a shot or suffer severe, severe consequences, the enlarging of the heart and the cavities around the heart, who is responsible? Only the parent who put the shot in the child. That is it. I have clients who have had serious illnesses due to FDA-approved drugs they have taken. One of them is brain dead. He will never be able to do anything ever again. He cannot sue. He has no repercussion because it is FDA-approved and there are side effects. I'm sorry. I'm not ready to risk this for my children. I'm not ready to be mandated that I have to give my child a vaccine. You know, and the last thing I want to say is, again, I know you guys have to, but you're listening to Dictator Murphy here. This is the same dictator who resided over the state that had the largest per capita death in nursing homes in the country, okay? You trust this guy. You trust Judy Persicelli. They're great. You know, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, this is bipartisan government numbers, says that New Jersey has the highest rate of nursing home deaths in the nation, more than 124 fatalities per 1,000 residents. PA had 14th highest rate, 76 deaths. Delaware, 23rd at 65 deaths. New York came in 34th. New York, you know how much crap Cuomo caught for the nursing homes? And he was only 34th in the nation, 55 deaths per 1,000 residents. Murphy, the worst. You know, I respect you guys. I don't want to put you in a hard position. But that's what's happening to us parents, and that's why we're angry, and that's why I had to speak up. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? No? Michelle, do you have any other correspondence or, public participation correspondence? No? Okay, I'm closing public participation. We're going into executive session. All right, we have an executive session to discuss a grievance. The matter will be disclosed to the public when the reasons for confidentiality no longer exists, and we will not be taking action after, correct? We will not. Okay, so motion and a second to go in exec?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, let's go.